Hey everyone, it's Flora. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm going to be looking at the preview images for episode 6 of Fruits Basket, the final. Last episode, oh my goodness, it was so emotional for me. Momiji's probably my favorite character, if not my top 3, and it was just so good. I was like worried how it was gonna feel like having 3 chapters, but overall I thought it went pretty good, and yeah, I'm really excited for this week's one too. Okay, so judging from the episode title that we got at the end of episode 5, the one for 6 is definitely from the sheet scene, the famous Tohru sheet scene everyone's super excited for. And we saw that in the trailer that was released, so I'm expecting to see some pictures that we've already seen before. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, first picture. Okay, so we got Shisho. So there's a couple chapters that could be, let's see, they skipped the last chapter of volume 18, right after the Rin and Haru arc, chapter 107. This is when Tohru sees Rin for the first time since her thing happened. Tohru doesn't actually know what happened. So let me see. She's at Shisho's house because that's where she's staying. So it could be where Shisho's asking where Isuzu was locked away, and Haru and Yuki are sitting at the table with him, and Haru says in the cat's place, where Kyo will be. So it could be this face here, where he just kind of stares off and he remembers this time where Kyo is just like really distraught and he's like, Shisho, I know. It's really sad, this scene. It's like just this little shot here of Kazuma looking away, like it's like such a sad smile, you know? He's running out of time to be with him and he's gonna be locked away and he wants to do whatever he can to prevent that. So yeah, I'm thinking it could be that shot, or it might be in a later chapter, which I'll look at in a little bit. Next picture. Ooh, her hair's so cute. Ooh, I feel like they changed it a little from the manga. So let's see. I guess it's pretty similar. I just feel like I noticed the front parts more, like the 2 little pieces. Yeah, it's a little different. So she did cut it. I wasn't sure what they were gonna do because from the episode that she was in, her hair was definitely longer. Like Akito didn't cut it as short as she did in the manga, and then in the ending of the episodes, you can't really see her hair that well. So I think that's super cute. I'm assuming this is when Tohru first sees Isuzu or Rin when they arrive at Shisho's house, and she's like, I was so worried about you, and then Rin gets all flustered and she's like, don't cry. And that you can see, I think that's Shisho in the background next to her, so that would make sense. Yeah, there's this part where Toru's kind of staring at her and Rin just says, I just cut it because it was annoying, so they don't really want to tell Tohru the truth of what happened to her because it's really terrible. Alright, next one. Oh boy, Shigure. So the scenes that were in the trailer that we haven't seen yet are when Shigure and Tohru are talking about the cat, and like she comes and asks Rin and Shigure, who are talking to each other, and she's like, the curse needs to be broken before spring. So let's see. He's definitely wearing the suit, which reminds me of this scene here when he shows up to see Rin. And I'm trying to think where he's sitting. Oh yeah, he's sitting down. He sits down at Shisho's house and he tells Rin that Ren was lying when she said she knew a way to break the curse. So Rin's like, you're lying. And he's like, oh, you don't have to believe me, but I know better. I know Ren better than you do. we're good friends, really good friends. It's like, okay, Shigure. So it's probably something around this part where he's sitting down talking to Rin. And that's when he says that the curse is gonna break, even if you leave it alone. And he's explaining how the curse has weakened over hundreds of years and that the day will be free will come eventually. So I'm assuming it's this scene, because he looks kind of snarky, as always. And this is before Tohru shows up, because that's when his expression starts changing to surprise. And yeah. Oh, this is gonna be so good. The ending always gets me when she sees Kyo in his karate gi. And she's like, she just stares at him. And she's just so sad. And she says, "Don't go," which is the quote from that poster that came out for this season. So it's gonna be a big theme here on out. All right, next one. Okay, so this is probably the same scene. I think this is when he's telling Rin the curse is gonna break, like, even if you don't do anything, blah, blah, blah. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay, all right, so it looks like they're rearranging things because I noticed that she's wearing her black dress. So I'm thinking this is when it's the anniversary of her mom's death, and they're gonna kind of blend these scenes together. So it looks like she's having that scene. Maybe they'll do the 107 first, and then they'll go right into the sheet scene. But they're gonna do the sheet scene last, and they'll do this chapter first. I don't know. Hang on, let me see. There's just so much happening. So this is chapter 114, and Tohru just comes to Shisho's house. So maybe it'll be like, I'm trying to think how they're gonna rearrange this. I mean, it kind of makes sense to put these two chapters together because they both take place at Shisho's place. So they'll probably just merge it, like it's the anniversary of her mom's death, and then afterwards, or maybe before, she goes to visit Shisho's house, and that's when she runs into Rin, and then she confesses that Kyo's the most important person to her now. But yeah, this is definitely where she's telling Rin that she doesn't want anyone to get between her and Kyo and take him away because Kyo is the most important thing in my life. And yeah, the next thing that happens still kind of bothers me. Like, Kagura just beats the crap out of Tohru and just slaps her across the room. Like I know Kagura's a very emotional person and she has her feelings for Kyo still, but I don't know, I just never really liked her for like having that reaction. Like, poor Tohru, man. Like, we'll see how it goes, but I really like the moment where Rin like goes right after Kagura and she's like, "Don't you dare hit her, like you do not have, like what makes you think you have the right to do that?" And you could tell how much Rin cares about Tohru from that scene. And yeah, okay, so this is definitely afterwards when she is talking to Shisho, and Shisho's kind of worried. He's like, I love Tohru and I want her to be here for Kyo, but I don't want her to like love him out of pity, because that's what happened with his grandfather and his lover. So this is where Kagura's telling Shisho, like, those feelings that she has, I can tell they're not pity. Like, these are real feelings that she has for him, and he just kind of like is taken aback. So this is gonna be another emotional, dramatic episode. Oh, yes! Okay, so then we have this. So this is tying into the Kyoko anniversary of her death chapter, which is 109. They might tie in Kyo's nightmare at the end of this. Like, her anniversary of her death, and like, maybe this will lead into Kyoko's backstory afterwards. I'm not sure. I know a lot of people are curious to know, like, where are they gonna do it? I think it would be a nice transition, like the sheet scene, and then he goes to bed that night and has the nightmare, and like dreams about her past or whatever, and then yeah, so we'll see what happens. That's just what I think right now, but I'm thinking it's this scene here when he says, I finally know how the sentence ended. Ever since that time, she's been like Katsuya, the way she speaks in Keigo and talks really politely. So yeah, he remembers that. And then he talks about when he went to see Tohru and didn't like how lonely she was, which kind of ties back into the beach arc when he was telling, well, himself, like as he's going down the hill to reach Tohru on the beach, he's like, it started to blossom ever since that day or whatever. The first time he saw Tohru, she looked so lonely. And that's when he shows up for the sheet scene. I'm super excited to see it. It's gonna be so good. So good. All right. Let's see. We have a few more. Oh, the black shirt is back. Bless. All right. So I'm pretty sure this is when he's visiting Kyoko's grave. Toru's not there though. He's kind of doing it like secretly, and he runs into Toru's grandfather there. So this is probably when he's listening to their grandfather talk about why he calls her Kyoko instead of Tohru, and the nasty things that people said during Katsuya's funeral, saying like, oh, she's not anything like her father, and, you know, just saying cruel things to kids. And Kyo totally understands that because he heard a lot of horrible things when he was a kid too. So it's probably somewhere in this scene here where the grandfather's sitting down and they're just talking. Let's see here. Oh. This always, the Kyoko, like, whenever she shows up, I just get sad. So I'm trying to remember if there's a specific shot of this, but the first thing I think of when I see this is when the grandfather's saying, like, I wanted to tie them together, like Tohru and Kyoko. I wanted to prove something about Kyoko, that she did exist, and I was afraid that if I didn't confirm that, that poor girl, Tohru, would fall apart. And then Kyo, like, clenches his fist, because angst. So it's not just for her, he did it for himself, because he was lonely and he missed them. It's just sad. Yeah, this could also be when she's thinking about when Toru's at Shisho's place talking to Rin, where she's thinking like, I don't want anything to get in the way, and how she's so terrified of her mom not being the most important thing anymore, and she's like saying goodbye, and she made a promise that mom would be the most important thing forever. But she's growing up and she's fallen in love, and yeah, it's sad. It's sad, but it's so good. Okay, I think the last 4 pictures are all the sheet scene. So let's go ahead. Yes. Okay. I got 3 books in front of me. Volume 19. Sheet scene. No, wait, is it? Yeah, sheet scene. This part was so cute. I'm kind of curious to know if the anime is going to include that last little panel. It's like, it's not, I don't know if it's official, like what happened, but after they hug, she drew a sketch saying like, he transformed anyway. So we'll see what happens, but the idea was like super cute. And I love how in the next chapter, they like accidentally touch hands when they grab the remote and they get super flustered, and it's adorable. I really hope they include that. So, all right, let's see. This is when he's asking Tohru what her father looked like, and then she explains like, oh, well, we don't really look similar, but the way we talk is very similar. And that's kind of where the episode title comes in. It was so foolish. He's saying like, oh, she must have felt so foolish just pretending to talk like her dad, but it makes her so endearing, you know? And that's when he hugs her and says it's okay. It's gonna be so good. All right, let's see. I'm sure he's saying, I'm sure your mom knew that you were speaking like Katsuya, but you were still You supported her. I know you did. And she's like, really? And he's like, yes, you have to believe that. It's okay. You can talk that way with me as much as you want. It's not going to disillusion me or anything. I know they changed the wording with the collector's edition. I can't remember what it says, but basically Kyo saying, like, it's not going to chase me away. Like, whatever you have to tell me, whatever side of you that you're ashamed of, like, don't be afraid. Excuse me. Don't be afraid. You know, I'll accept you no matter what. I'm not going to be chased away. And then that line comes back when the dramatic stuff happens in volume 21. So yeah, we'll hold off that for now. She's so upset. But this just proves, like, she feels so comfortable with Kyo. Like, she can open up to him in ways that she never has with anyone else in the series. And it's a special moment, especially now that they both realize their feelings for each other. And if they're including her basically confessing her feelings to Rin in the same episode, like, it's going to be really on her mind and impactful, I think. So let's see. I think this is just when they're just hugging it out. She's crying. It's so good. Yeah, I think these are both really similar. So this is when maybe it's the part where he's saying, like, it's not going to disillusion me. And Tohru's like, I'm sorry, I was talking like I was depressed. And he's like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm here for you, you know? Ah, love it. So good. Can't wait. I like both the anime and the manga. Can you? There we go. But something about the angling of the faces in the manga is just so gorgeous. I don't know. Seems like they added Kyo's eyebrows to be more expressive in the anime. I'm just not sure which part will be first. I kind of think the episode order, Kiki is saying hi, will go in the way that I showed the pictures. So, because I feel like that would be a good place to lead into the Kyo nightmare and Kyoko's backstory if they include it, which I hope they do. We're at this point where, like, I feel like everything's important, so I'm really hoping that they don't skip stuff from here on out. I have a feeling that this season will be shorter than the previous seasons, but I don't think it's going to be 13 episodes. I don't think they're going to rush it. Like, if they've done so good this far, I don't see them messing up the ending, you know? So maybe there'll be more than 13 episodes, but not quite 25. So I don't know. Those are just my thoughts right now, and I'm really excited to see this episode. It's gonna be really good. I feel like we haven't gotten a lot of Kyo Tohru content in a while, so it's gonna be good. And I'll see you all on Monday with my reaction. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had fun, and let me know what you think in the comments. All right, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.